The West Indies cricket team, under the watchful eye of head coach Darren Sammy and his coaching staff, is at this time in the middle of a training session at Providence in Guyana on the outskirts of Georgetown. In another 50 minutes or so, Rovman Powell will be meeting with the media for a press conference. But the news that has gripped the cricketing world for the past 20 hours is the United States of America beating Pakistan in the men's T20 Cricket World Cup in Dallas, Texas. Joining me this morning to discuss this victory of the United States and its implications are Basil Butcher Jr., the son of the legendary West Indian batsman Basil Butcher. He is also a former coach of the United States women's cricket team. Along with Basil Butcher is Roger Tracy, who is one of the persons that organize all those cricket tournaments in South Florida. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Sir Carlton. Good morning, Roger. Good morning to your viewers.
Good morning, Basil, Carlton, and good morning to all your viewers around the world.
Yes, I really appreciate you all being here, and thank you for joining us. Wherever you may be, it's a privilege to communicate with you, and as usual, I'm very happy and proud. News outlets from all over the world have picked up on United States victory over Pakistan. From the east to the west, from the north to the south, Al Jazeera, Sky News, BBC, you name it. In the United States, the outlets have posted it on their website immediately as the result came out. I just want to quote Forbes magazine. US cricket team upset Pakistan in overtime thriller at T20 World Cup. CNN said the US cricket team orchestrated a shocking defeat of powerhouse Pakistan following a dramatic super over victory at the Men's Cricket World Cup on Thursday in Dallas. The thrilling win was the biggest in USA cricket history. The triumph could be considered one of the biggest upsets in the sport of cricket. And the New York Times wrote, in one of the biggest shock in cricket history, the USA defeated Pakistan in the T20 Cricket World Cup in Dallas, Texas. The US now stand a strong chance of qualifying for the Super 8 round. Gentlemen, Basil, starting with you. What impact does this victory have on the United States cricket and on the world cricket on a whole?
I don't really think it's going to have a great impact on United States cricket, to be frank, because the game is still pretty much an expatriate game here in the United States. It's not come out of the expatriate communities, right? And yes, those media outlets cover international news and they publish it and so on. You know, I really don't think it's going to have a great impact on the game itself in terms of cricket here, because I look in the past at other times where we had watershed movements in the sport here in the United States, and it was a blimp on the map, you know. But it will remain to be seen. But in my opinion, I don't think it's going to have a tremendous effect outside of the expatriate communities here in the US.
Roger, I'm going to ask you the same question. How do you think this will affect you promoting your tournaments in South Florida? And do you expect now to see more sponsors around your tournaments?
Well, before we get into how it directly affects South Florida, what I would like to say is exactly 30 years ago, we had the soccer or football World Cup here in the United States. Back then, soccer was not seen as one of sort of the major sports played here in the United States. We saw what that World Cup and the performance of the United States team did for football. I believe at the time, America really fell in love with the United States soccer team. And we have seen how the major league has grown over the years. Exactly 30 years later, in 2024, we have the United States team getting, what many would describe as a tremendous victory, and it obviously was. But I don't necessarily believe this victory was an upset. 3 years ago, there's been a movement in the United States as far as cricket is concerned. The minor league was started. We're now going into the fourth year of minor league. And then we had major league cricket starting last year. So there's really been a movement here in the United States to really sort of push cricket. We have over 200,000 cricketers playing on a given weekend here in the United States, along with these pop-up sort of satellite tournaments. So, based on what we have seen from the United States cricket team, in my opinion, over the last 3 to 6 months, we have seen the results against Bangladesh. We've seen all the players coming in that previously played for full member nations. Based on how the team has been performing, yes, this was a tremendous victory, an unexpected victory in some quarters. But for the people here in the United States who have been following the team, who know of the quality of this team and seeing the work that has gone behind the scenes, I don't think it's a surprise at all. And I don't necessarily see it as a huge shock, especially when you consider the way Pakistan has been playing over the last few months. As far as how it will affect cricket here on the local shores, there's been tremendous excitement here in South Florida. Everyone is talking about the United States victory over Pakistan. Everyone was glued to their TV screens yesterday in all the sort of WhatsApp chats, Facebook posts. Everyone here, the local community, has been thoroughly engaged and excited. And I will see, what the crowd is like this weekend for the USA Ireland game. I believe that's on Friday or Saturday. But I believe, what happened yesterday will really sort of galvanize all the local fans here in Florida and really serve as a way to sort of rev up the excitement. And hopefully it will have a tremendous impact.
Basil, do you agree with Roger that it is not so much of an upset, Basil? Let's hear your views.
I disagree vehemently with Roger. Vehemently. Unlike Roger, I have been around US cricket at the highest level. Right? And you cannot compare these players, this team, to the Pakistan team with those world-class players. There is not a single player on the US team that one could consider world-class player. There are some good players on the team. Pakistan is a team filled with world-class players. Pakistan, as we know, they're a mercurial team. What one would say, you are not surprised at Pakistan dumping such a poor performance is not surprising of Pakistan for doing that. But to say you wouldn't be surprised that United States beat Pakistan, I would like to meet anybody who would have put their money up knowing that USA was going to beat Pakistan before this game started. No way. It's a tremendous upset in the same context when West Indies lost to Kenya in 1996 in the 50 over World Cup in Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and India. Come on. I watch minor league cricket. The standard of minor league cricket is an absolute joke, right? I'm not bearing no blunt when it comes to US cricket, right? Because I know the nonsense that goes on in US cricket. That's why I'm so freaking passionate about it, right? The people that run US cricket don't know what they're doing. They luck out. We got a good victory, United States, but don't make it more than it is. We got a good victory. We do not have, and lastly, the comparison to the Football World Cup is absolute rubbish. Do respect, Roger. Soccer started playing in this country in the schools in 1980. By 1994, you have college foot soccer and all of those things. It was grassroots. It built up to that World Cup. We have nothing of the sort in cricket in the United States.
Let's look at the match. Pakistan batted first after the USA won the toss and put them into bat. They made 159 for 7. Babar Azam 44, Shadab Khan making 40, and Kenjige getting 3 for 30. The USA in reply made 159 for 3 with the captain Monank making 50 and Jones 36 not out, Gous making 35. USA then won the super over by 5 runs, making 18 in their super over compared to Pakistan 13 in their super over. Let's start with you, Raja. What do you think about this performance overall?
I think overall it was a really good performance. If you watch this game from sort of start to end, I don't believe at any point, and this is why I'm not going to coin this victory as an upset. At no point during this game did Pakistan show that they were a better team. At no point did the Pakistan team dominate. They were not on top. The USA dominated the power play when the Pakistan is batted. We took wickets, and also I believe there were only 30-odd runs scored in the power play. Throughout the innings, at one point, Pakistan attempted to make a recovery, but then they collapsed again. And it was only because of a cameo from the tailender, Shaheen Shah Afridi, that really got them up to an under par score of 150 odd. So, and then when the US had their turn at bat, again, they were cruising. They were absolutely cruising. And I believe it was only, as a result of some inexperience between the 15th and the 19th over, and also some great bowling from Shaheen Shah and Mohammad Amir that really pulled the Pakistanis back into the game. But I believe throughout this game, the USA really were on top, and they showed yesterday at least that on the day they were the better team. And in fact, if you really look at it, Pakistan were essentially beaten twice, because the initial game was tied, and then the US also won the super over. You would think that if Pakistan is such a better team, or at least on the day, but at least once the game was tied, they would have won the super over.
Basil, over to you.
First thing, I don't think because the US outplayed Pakistan means that it's not an upset. US outplayed Pakistan. I agree with that 100%. That doesn't mean it's not an upset. I mean, when Kenya beat West Indies in 1996, they outplayed us, right? They bowled us out for cheap, outplayed us. That doesn't mean it wasn't an upset. And let me just say this: despite the fact that Pakistan were outplayed, had it not been a blunder on their captain's part with his field placing on that last ball, they would have won the game. So that should tell you it was an upset, because you cannot be having a guy, Harris Ruff. Harris Ruff bowls a Yorker, right? And if you miss the Yorker, you bowl a low full toss, you're gonna get hit straight. I was flabbergasted, because when the guy hit the ball, I said game done, because I looking to see the guy at long off, field the ball and throw the ball in. When I see the mid-off was in the circle, the guy was in the circle, I was like, what a blunder. And then, typical of Pakistan, you see Babar carrying on at a rate, right? The typical Pakistan, how they always argue on the field. And from there, I knew they were a beaten team, because they lost their composure at the end of the game, and now and they did not recover their composure in the super over. When you're gonna see a guy gonna run, the team run 3 runs on a wide to the wicket keeper. I mean, that was schoolboy cricket at the highest order. But kudos to the United States, they outplayed Pakistan the entire game, right? And because of Pakistan's experience and skill and ability, they were able to bring the game back and put pressure on the United States and could have won the game had basic field placement had been put in place.
My view on it is that Pakistan never played at their best.
No.
The United States played above expectation and was only barely able to scrape through with a super over win. Now, let's hear what the United States captain have to say about the super over.
Or anybody else for that matter. I mean, the plan was we wanted to make sure that we utilize the condition, and the condition was left-arm bowler bowling cutters and wide Yorkers with left-arm over, the angle going out. It helps our bowler to create that angle. Ali Khan usually he hits the stump, and we wanted to make sure that we make them play outside the off stump. And as a left-hander, the angle helps it. So that's why. And Saurabh had a good day, and I backed Saurabh, and yeah, that was the decision.
Do you agree with these comments, Roger, from the USA captain about why not going with Ali Khan?
Not necessarily. In my opinion, Ali Khan is the best bowler. He bowled quite well, and my expectation was that Ali Khan would have bowled a super over. However, I do understand what the captain's intent was, and in the end, the desired result was attained. So you have to, sort of back his decision. But if I were captain, I would have certainly gone with Ali Khan.
Basil, have you ever been playing a domino game and the persons around you are trying to tell you which shot you should play, even though you won the game?
Many times.
Basil, did the captain make the right decision to give Nat Chalver the final over?
Look,
over.
In sport, even in life, you make calls. Some plans work, sometimes they don't work. Right? Give kudos. He made the call and it worked. I like what Roger said. Had Pakistan able to overhaul the score, people would have then be questioning why you didn't bowl Ali Khan. He's our best bowler, right? They made a call, and they thought, and I think too, from the perspective, Iftikhar, the batter Iftikhar, the tactic of bowling wide away from Iftikhar, you were taking away some of his power, because Iftikhar could be a very destructive player if he catch a hold of you, right? But so I think had Ali Khan been bowling, Iftikhar may have had a better chance to use his power. So I gotta give them credit for the call that they made, and more so, the bowler bowled beautifully to his plan. That's the thing. The US bowlers, because the US team had in terms of the conditions, the US bowlers had the better bowling conditions because it was moisture and so in the pitch at the start, right? So the ball was doing more things and so on and so forth, and they stuck to their lines and lengths and so on. I thought the Pakistani batters, for guys who have played Test cricket, should understand. Look, right now is not a time to be looking to play too many big shots. Got to weather the storm for a bit, and then hold wickets in hand, so then we could explode as the game goes along. But they didn't play it like that.
I want to say one thing here, Carlton.
Go ahead.
Just to jump back to something Basil said earlier about Kenya. Basil, when Kenya beat the West Indies, that was a complete shock to the world. That was completely unexpected. The form books could not have predicted this. I don't believe anyone expected Kenya to win even one game in a World Cup, much less to beat the West Indies team. Based on the form books here, again, it's a tremendous victory. A lot of people are going to say it's an upset. But based on the form books, based on how Pakistan has been playing, they have not been playing well, Basil. They have not been playing well, and the United States have been playing well. If you want to say they have been punching above their weight for the last few months, fine. They've beaten Bangladesh. They beat Canada 4-0. And I believe this team has been playing good cricket, and Pakistan has not been playing good cricket. Pakistan has a lot of issues. They have a lot of internal issues and political issues right now. And this victory, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not surprised. In fact, I would go as far as to say I saw this coming.
Yeah.
Well,
just a minute. Over 2.5 billion people followed cricket. How many of that 2.5 billion do you think would have predicted a United States win?
That's what I'm saying. And let me tell you something. The victories against Bangladesh, I watched all 3 of those games. When Bangladesh decided to show up in the last game, it was no contest. I mean, we got to be for real, right? Bangladesh was playing some listless cricket, and there seemed to be an attitude in the Bangladesh camp because Sakim Al-Hassan made a comment that their preparation leading into this World Cup, they had played Zimbabwe in a 3-match tournament at home and then playing against US. He said this was not ideal preparation, right? So you can watch the way they were playing in those first 2 games. It's like these guys was going through the motion and maybe they got a good swift kick in the butt. And in the last game, it was no contest. And we can't look at beating Canada. Canada is an associate nation like the United States. Pakistan is a full member nation. Pakistan played a game against a 3-match series against Ireland. I watched all 3 of them games. They lost the first game narrowly. And then in the next 2 games, they beat Ireland with ease, right? England is the best, is the reigning champions, right? And then playing in English conditions and so on. Pakistan was not hitting the straps as you would expect them. But as I say, Pakistan is a mercurial team. On their day, they beat anybody in the world. And on their day, on their worst day, like one of their days, anybody could beat them. This team, we just often say they and the West Indies are similar in terms of those characteristics. You don't know which Pakistan team will show up, like you say sometimes about the West Indies.
Raja, you seem to have a lot of confidence in this United States team then. Before I go to the captain, Monank, because there's one more clip from Monank that I would like to play. How far do you think that they can really go in this tournament? You definitely have a lot of confidence in them.
Well, I mean, looking at the stage of the tournament right now and how things are currently, I believe it's a realistic proposition that this American team can make it out of this round and get to the Super 8s. I wouldn't necessarily expect them to get much further, but based on how things are lining up currently, Pakistan is in shambles, and they play against India this weekend.
All right, thank you very much, because we really was asking you about the US. All right, thank you. All right, earlier I asked you the question about what do you think this will do for cricket in the United States? This is what Monank, the USA captain, has to say.
Because, beating Pakistan in World Cup is going to, open many doors for us. And people like, USA cricket community will be aware of it. And obviously, hosting the World Cup in USA and performing here as a team, it helps us to grow the cricket in USA.
Gentlemen, there is Monank saying that this will open doors and so on. All right, Basil, about 2 years ago, I would have said that the USA cricket is on a track to surpass West Indies cricket in the next 10 years. So it's 8 years from now. But the real issue, one of the real issues with the United States cricket is their financial situation and their organizational structure. Right now, to the best of my knowledge, there's no CEO in place, as the latest CEO was once again fired.
Yeah.
The United States cricket, USA cricket is not getting any money from the ICC to spend. They have to be providing invoices to the ICC, that ICC take care of those bills. What is it that you think that need to be done to really kickstart USA cricket and, as Monank said, open doors for persons playing cricket in the United States?
Let me just say this. I mean, this is a subject that's close to my heart. that I've been talking about for years, because I've been around the cricket in this country for over 40 years, from playing, administrator, coaching, etc. Right? Firstly, our current cricket structure is not germane to promoting the sport. It is a recreational sport. The structure remains in a recreational format. It is not a professionally administered, professionally organized structure. That's the first issue that has to be changed. Two, the people who are administrating cricket, all of them need to be fired on the spot, because all of them don't know what they're doing. They continue to just keep the game within their communities. And I'm going to say this straight, the South Asian communities. I have had people who have told me when they've seen teams, and I warned this cricket community about this happening going all the way back to 2007, when we used to have USACA. Because at the USACA general meeting, you had all these South Asians get up and say, oh, we got our academies here, there, everywhere. And then after when all of them done, I get up and said, y'all thumping on y'all chests. But I ain't see no white guys. I'm not seeing no black guys. I'm not seeing no other ethnicities in y'all academies. And y'all live in the suburbs. Y'all are not in the urban centers. How come we're not seeing those people? Y'all are continue to keep the game amongst your own people. A pin could have dropped in the place. None of them could answer me, because I was waiting for them. Right? And I warned since then, we're going, because as a coach, I was coaching youth cricket at the time. And when we go to the national championship, the only teams that had people of other ethnicities was my team in the Atlantic region, New Jersey, Maryland area, New York, and Southeast with Florida and so on. Every other team was pretty much all South Asians. And I saw this coming down the line. And then with this academy thing they started, you started getting this hierarchical system, because the average working class person can't send their child to academy to play cricket. And because we don't have those public situations where any child can come and learn to play the game, and where do we find, and where traditionally are the best athletes in sport? They're usually working class people, not the highfalutins. So as a result, we are keeping out of the cricket a whole lot of the people that can learn to play the game. When I had a women's team in New Jersey, I had 5 white women in my team. 5. And including in that 5, 3 of them were American white women. So they had no connection to cricket, because that was my vision, taking the game outside of the expatriate and pulling in those athletes. And now more so than ever, cricket, now you could tell a youngster you could play cricket for serious money, unlike years past. So it's a viable option. And also, the beauty about cricket, you could be 5'3", you could be 6'4", and be a star. You can't be 5'3", unless you're Muggsy Bogues and play the NBA or the NFL. Rarely those kind of statures are thing. But cricket allows all of these youngsters that are locked out of those other sports to come and play, and now they could make money. And this final point, one of the issues with America and cricket, as it was with football, America, all sports are tied to the educational system. You look at all sports, unlike cricket, everywhere else in the world, it comes through the club. Similarly with football, it's only in the United States football comes through high school, the education system, but everywhere else in the world is a club sport. No, I think the problem of going through the schools is it's cool to do it, but I think we should build a simultaneous club structure to bring up youngsters with cricket, because the school thing might take a long time to germinate. But if we put together proper club structure, we'll be able to do it fast, I think.
Roger, Basil is there painting a picture of exclusivity. How do we move away from that? Or the US move away from that?
Yeah, I agree with Basil. There are obviously some challenges at the administrative level of USA cricket, and he is correct in that the game needs to be sort of spread out a bit more, and it needs to move into more communities. For that to happen, obviously, there will have to be a lot of changes at the administrative level, at the USA cricket level. Right now, we have some problems, and these are things that we obviously need to deal with. Having said that, there has been a movement, and I have heard that there is a movement right now to certainly move cricket into the schools. And I know that will happen here in Fort Lauderdale very, very soon. The ICC is already working with the local Broward County, especially. And I have heard that soon some of these programs they are working to implement cricket as a part of the educational system, the curriculum here. I know that is happening and that is going to happen very soon here in South Florida. So, hopefully, this could obviously happen in, different communities, and we could get sort of, different folks, a wider range of people playing the game here at a young age, and hopefully that will work. Having said that, at the administrative level, there are a lot of issues. There are a lot of folks who are in administration for their personal agendas. And if we don't get away from that, we're going to continue to have some problems.
Thank you very much, Roger. We have listened to Monank, the USA captain. Now, Babar, he did spoke after the match. There was not a lot of English in his interview, but I was able to get this short clip from Babar yesterday. This is what he has to say.
Yes, I am upset. We are not playing good in all three departments. We are better than that. In the bowling, we are not in first 6 overs, taking wickets. In the middle overs, your spinner is not taking wickets, then pressure on us. And after 10 overs, we will come back. But I think the way they finish game on the super overs and in the super overs, I think credit to US team.
Clearly, Basil Babar was not happy at all. The Pakistani team was not happy. As I said, there was not a lot of English in that interview because they were really getting at each other. Your comment, Basil?
Yeah, I'm sure Pakistan, when they looked at this group, they ticked off a win against US, they ticked off a win against Canada, and they ticked off a win against Ireland, who they beat up in Ireland. So winning those games, they don't have to beat India. They goes through, right? So now one of the victories they ticked off is gone. So of course he would be upset. But just before I just want to say something, also respond to something what Roger just said. One of the also issues, because I remember years ago we had a conference after the youth team went to the World Cup, and one of the things we were talking about the whole youth cricket thing, and something people often disregard is that one, when you're going to spread the game to the schools, etc., you better make sure you're going to have grounds, facilities for these youngsters to play on. You have the requisite amount of coaches. You got the requisite amount of umpires around to officiate these games and so on. And I would say we still have not reached to that situation to date. And so when one of the things I say about ICC, my biggest problem with ICC, they do not consult with the right people in the United States when they come in here to deal with our cricket. They come in here often thinking nobody don't know nothing about cricket. The ICC got the market cornered on cricket knowledge. And every time they've come into the United States, they have stumbled and fallen on their face. And to date, they have not learned their lesson. They talk to people who do not understand this landscape, right? And that is a fatal error on their part. We see what's going on in New York with their field.
Yeah, Roger, clearly Pakistan was under pressure. There have been allegations, there are rumors that the reason why the ball was changed after 13 overs is that a name was called. I'm not going to call the name. A name was called that there was ball tampering. This player tampered with the ball due to the pressure that Pakistan was under. How do you rate this Pakistan performance?
Very poor. Again, they have been below par now for quite a while. And again, I personally did not have high hopes for this Pakistan team. I feel they're not playing the 2024 brand of T20 cricket that they're supposed to be playing. They've really rolled back the years. Pakistan, they're really playing sort of an old school brand. As you see, they have Babar opening the batting with Rizwan. They're getting off to slow power play starts. You have someone like Fakar, who should probably be up the order, who could add some sort of impetus to their innings, coming in the middle over. So I think they're not playing the right brand of cricket. I believe they're a little, few steps behind. They also have a number of out of form players, and then they have players like Azim Khan, who's just having a torrid time. So I rate this Pakistan performance out of 5, maybe 2. They're really way below the levels, of where they're supposed to be.
Basil, just quickly, Raja mentioned 2. How many do you give them?
Look, Roger make an interesting point about the way they play in the T20, right? But what's interesting, with the way these wickets play in the United States, their style of play would fit perfectly, because the blasting type of T20 where you see playing the IPL, which I don't call cricket. That's something else. That's not cricket. This is cricket where proper batters got to show technique and weather the storm because the pitch is giving the bowlers help. Pakistan actually would be playing better cricket, but they some of them still think, some of the batters still thought they could go and do the swinging. I giving them a 1, not a 2. I giving them a 1. This was a very poor performance.
Thank you very much, Basil. Let's take some of the comments here. Lance Blake, good morning to you. Nice to have you here. Lance Blake is saying, this is an example of the stories of Cricket World Cup is made of. The romance. Quickly, Raja, 15 seconds. This is a romance we're looking for?
Absolutely. America coming into this World Cup, a home World Cup, and doing well, hopefully will warm the fans of America, will warm the people of America, and hopefully America will fall in love with USA cricket.
Which one is more devastating, Basil? Kenya beating West Indies or the US? Well, I shouldn't use the word devastating, which is a bigger upset. Kenya beating West Indies.
I said it yesterday. Kenya beating West Indies.
Okay.
Because
Monank is saying that he's not surprised by Pakistan poor show for the last 1 year. It had a coach, Mickey Arthur, who believed that cricket coaching is a thing to be given through video calls and laptop. The present coach of Pakistan is also a South African. Am I right, Basil? Kirsten?
Yeah, Gary Kirsten.
Yeah, yes. Do you think they really have a coaching issue in Pakistan, Roger?
No, I mean, Gary just, joined the staff. He's a reputable coach. He's someone that has had tremendous success around the world. Obviously, that does not necessarily mean it will translate to him having success in Pakistan. Obviously, it's a different environment, different culture, and he will have to relate to these players. But he was just assigned as coach, and this is, I think, his first or second assignment. I think he did Ireland recently, so this is his second assignment. So I wouldn't put this on Gary Kirsten.
Good morning, Mr. Casanova. Mr. Casanova is saying that Pakistan flop big time, but I'm not surprised at all. Pakistan rely far too much on Babar Azam and Rizwan too much. And Mr. Casanova is continuing to say Pakistan has been inconsistent for the past several months. Do you agree, Basil, that they have been inconsistent for the past several months?
Yeah, they were trying to find a different opening pair, for example. The guy, you remember the guy that played for the Amazon Warriors, the guy in Amazon Warriors, Ayub. They had him opening the batting because he's somewhat explosive player, and that the experiment didn't work because they I think Babar dropped down and or Rizwan or one of the, and they tried that and it wasn't working out, and they made the change. They had Azam Khan wicket keeping and had Rizwan out in the outfield. In England, Azam Khan had a torrid time, and you can't have a wicket keeper, dropping simple chances. This is a World Cup coming up. Boom, Rizwan is back behind the stumps. So there's some turbulence. And with Gary Corson, as he said, he ain't coming in. He just got there. He's not looking to make change. He's looking to see, how things are, the different players, expecting the players who have done the job before to do their job. And, going forward, it probably will you might start to see changes. But I didn't expect him to do anything drastic newly coming into this situation.
Roger, why is it every World Cup there's always drama in a Pakistan camp? They make it hard for outside help to come in their camp. They need to stop their aggression. Do you share St. Helens' views?
It's one of the reasons why Pakistan, is one of the most loved teams around the world as well. They can be very unpredictable. It's one of those teams that, listen, Pakistan lost to the United States yesterday. Would I be surprised if Pakistan turned around and won the World Cup? No. It's par for the course. They started the same way in 1992, losing their first game in another upset, and obviously recovered throughout the tournament and ended up going straight to the finals and winning the 92 World Cup.
But why? No, but to the question though, why is there always trouble in Pakistan camp?
They have a lot of political infractions. They have everyone on this Pakistan team is a former captain. There are always going to be issues in a team like this, right? And Babar is a captain right now. I'm pretty sure half the team may not want to see him as captain. They probably don't want to see him opening the batting. There's just a lot going on in this team, and it's not a surprise. It happens all the time, and it's probably going to continue, for years to come.
One of the things that I find I comment to you, Basil, and the question on the screen, the comment on the screen is yours, Basil, so you can be reading it in the meantime. One of the things though I find very strange about Pakistan, and maybe this is just a culture in that country, but the Prime Minister of Pakistan is actually the de facto head of the cricket board in Pakistan. He appoints the Prime Minister have the right to appoint who he wants to lead the board. And I don't know how many occasions those appointments are really political instead of sport, instead of cricket. But Dennis Weeks is saying, Basil, you have read the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Dennis Weeks 100%. I have been hating what I saw in the IPL. I've I talked to some former West Indies fast bowlers, and they lament the same thing. How the balance of the game is so loaded all the way over to batters. You see world-class bowlers bowling in the IPL, and batters that cannot even make an international team hitting them to all parts. It tells you something is wrong. And I feel in every format of cricket, you must be able to have a balanced competition between bat and ball. And as a result, in this World Cup, you're starting to see guys who all they could do is swipe, getting found out big time, even though they've gotten a lot of notoriety because they're not batsmen, they're hitters, right? And I am glad to see this, because maybe finally the people that manage the game will start to realize maybe we need to read this thing in. And there was an interesting comment by the American commentator at the last match in New York. They got an American guy on the commentary team, and he would give baseball parallels to cricket and so on. And he said it's interesting in baseball the most exciting thing in baseball is a no-hitter, where runs in scoring, right? And he said the American people that he's talking to are loving the low scores because, this too. He said, but what he found interesting, the people from the cricketing countries are the ones who are complaining about the low scores, but the Americans who have no connection to the game are the ones who are enjoying the low scores because, like in baseball, low scores are the most exciting in baseball.
Kester Osborne, I too, and I really believe that there will be more upsets along the way. And I see you are glad now that with the USA beating Pakistan, we are not the only one who is in that position as Kenya did to the West Indies. Indra is saying that Aaron Jones was from Barbados. I think that he was born in the USA, but he was weaned in Barbados. He grew up in Barbados, but I don't think that he was quite born in Barbados. Indra is also recently Nepal bowled out the USA for 35 runs. Raja, quickly, 30 seconds. USA got bowled out for 35 runs. It must be an upset yesterday.
Carlton, these things happen in cricket. Teams will have good days and teams will have bad days. So yes, USA team was bowled out for 35 runs. I'm not for 1 second here saying the USA team is a great cricket team. I'm just saying they're a good team. They have good players. They're playing good cricket, and the Pakistan team is not playing good cricket. And that is the reason why I'm not going to coin this as an upset. Just because, again, one team, based on the form books, I am not surprised by this victory over Pakistan.
This is very interesting here from the champion. But this will take an entire show by itself to discuss. The champion is here saying that probably the USA Cricket Board and the West Indies Cricket Board could combine and they still have two teams. That's really a lot of complexity. That will take an entire show. That will take an entire show, the champion. That's going very deep.
It wouldn't happen because they're two separate members of the ICC. So that can't happen. What champion may not know is that West Indies Board, as the full member nation here in the Americas, they have oversight in guiding and helping these countries to develop the game in the different areas. West Indies Board has been very derelict in their duties over the years in doing so. It's only now in recent times, because now you're getting more cricket playing in the United States, like this Major League Cricket come into stance and so on, that they start to realize the importance of tapping into the U.S. market. I even said to the president, I was on a show with him, and I said to him that because I was told that the New York field, they're going to leave the field and the pitches, and they're going to take back the stadium to Vegas. And I said to him, well, now finally New York area has an international field that now West Indies could come and play international matches in the New York area. And I said, I could guarantee you, because the largest Caribbean expatriate community in the world lives in the New York tri-state area, I could guarantee you every game will be sold out. As the folks in New York come to see cricket and would pay to see West Indies play. Unlike the Florida people where Roger is. They're abysmal in Florida.
Roger, this is a concern. It is something that dawned on most persons. Yes, not most persons, but a lot of persons. It dawned on them. Was the match against the United States yesterday a fix?
Woo. You're gonna get me in trouble, then. It's certainly, you know what? Mohammed Amir bowled that super over, so I don't think he would do anything like that.
Because we don't want to
Sir Carlton, when people started positing that in the chat group, I just paused a minute. Well, the man who bowled that over,
he would never do it.
I said, just like what Roger said, I think Mohamed Abi will be so stupid. He already served jail time. Not just get banned, he served jail time too for the offense. I think he's so stupid in the glaring lights of the World Cup to do something like that. But you know, suspicious minds would think that.
I mean, having said that, that has to be the most expensive over ever bowled with just one boundary.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that was very poor feeling on the part of the Pakistani.
Eight extras.
Yes. So when you look back at it, it's a fairly good over if it wasn't for all those overthrow. So one has to wonder though. Now, in just about 25 minutes from now, Rovman Powell, the West Indies captain, will be facing the media in their pre-match press conference before taking on Uganda tomorrow night at the Guyana National Stadium. This will be West Indies' second match of the tournament, Uganda's third. Gentlemen, in our match against Papua New Guinea, there was some concern. There's a lot of comments about team change, and we were not patient enough, and we were trying to play the way that we played in the IPL. Unfortunately, I thought I had it, but the playing 11 for the match against Papua New Guinea was the one that I chosen before the World Cup. Now, gentlemen, both of you agree that that will be the playing 11 for tomorrow also. Basil, give us your feedback on what you think is going to happen tomorrow, or should I say prediction?
I think we're gonna destroy Uganda. We're gonna beat. I watch the Uganda team play against both Afghanistan, and then I watch them against Papua New Guinea. The guys in Uganda, their batters are of poor quality. They got some decent bowlers, but the batters, they're not gonna be able to withstand the West Indies bowlers. So I am expecting us to roll over Uganda nicely.
I sure you agree with those sentiments from Basil Roger. Should West Indies bat first? Should West Indies bat first tomorrow? Are you expecting a total of 300 or more?
Absolutely. I'm expecting the West Indies to absolutely massacre this team tomorrow. If the West Indies bat first, I'm certainly expecting a total over 250. Maybe not 300, but I expect us to do very, very well. I expect Johnson Charles, Nicholas Poor, and all of these guys to come to the party tomorrow and really make a statement in this World Cup. West Indies now has to make a statement. We, messed around a little bit against Papua New Guinea. Tomorrow is a time to really show and to make a statement to everyone that, hey, West Indies are here and we're ready. We're ready.
Yeah. Basil, you seem to having some issues there. The fire thing or something, or the smoke detector.
No.
Basil, do you expect tomorrow a full crowd, a full stands at Providence?
No. No, I don't. I don't for the reason of the price of the tickets.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there are tickets being sold for $6.
Well, when I looked at it online, the cheapest tickets were $22 US.
Yes, and that is 4,400 Guyanese dollars. Roger, are you expecting a bumper crowd in Guyana tomorrow?
I would hope so. I mean, tomorrow, I believe, is the last fixture for the home team in Guyana until, semifinal stage, because I think our new game against New Zealand is going to be in Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
So I would believe that the Guyanese public would come out in their numbers to see the home team, and it's a evening game as well. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I believe it's an evening game tomorrow.
Yes, it's a Saturday night.
So, the expectation would be that we should get a good crowd, even if it's not a sold-out crowd, at least a 90% capacity. If not, that would be very disappointing for the men in maroon.
I think this, Sir Carlton, one of the things it'll be interesting to see, because I've heard the complaints coming from Guyana regarding the price of the tickets. Well, we're going to see if it's simply just the price of the tickets, because the first game, 10:30 in the morning on a Sunday, is not an ideal time. West Indians don't go to see T20 games at that early time in the morning. Let's see now in the evening. The game is playing on a Saturday evening. Ticket prices are probably relatively about the same. Let's see if the crowd, if it's really about the prices of the tickets, because the time now is more conducive for more people to come to the game. So let's see what happens. I'm hoping that they get a decent crowd, but I'm not expecting like a sellout or anything like that.
Okay, thank you very much. Basil, sticking with you, there's a lot of talk about we are going to beat Uganda, so we need to give other players a run out. As a coach, tell us why we need to play our best 11, although it is against Guyana. It's against Uganda.
You got here. Look, what you feel when you pick your team, you feel this is your best team, right? This is a team that you're looking to continue to improve with each game as you go into down in as the tournament progresses. So this run out thing, that's not it. You are more concerned about the best team that you feel are executing well in all the phases you're looking for them to execute with each and every game. So you can't chop and change at all. You may have a situation, maybe if one of the guys that you felt was the best in the best 11 that really is not performing, you give them 2 games, because look, it's only 4 games you got in the group stage. You give him 2 games, and especially against the minnows, so-called minnows, and they ain't come up to scratch. You got to start looking, wait a minute, maybe this guy is not, and we got to look elsewhere, because the next 2 games is against the 2 best teams in the group. And this is where the business end of the group play is going to come into play. These are games you do not want to lose, especially if you lose one of those 2 games going to come down to the decider as to who goes to the second round.
Okay.
The
Roger, Brian H is saying that we are jinxing the West Indies team. Why are you jinxing the West Indies team, Roger?
I don't think we're jinxing the West Indies team. I believe, all the talk leading into this World Cup, it has been championship or bust. If you listen to, the fans in the Caribbean, if you listen to the captain, if you listen to Coach Darren Sammy, it's all about winning the World Cup. It's not about doing well. And the team has to play with that level of confidence, right? So I don't think we're jinxing the team by saying that we're going to absolutely massacre these opponents tomorrow. I think we have to make a statement. We have to put, our actions where our mouth is, and then we really have to come out and show that we are, a championship caliber team. And the only way to show that is by dispatching this Uganda team tomorrow.
Michael Douglas is saying that the Guyana pitch will definitely play better under lights. Hopefully Charles would come good. He can't afford to fail 14 times out of 14. And so we hope that Charles come good. Eloise Gums, good to have you here. Eloise is saying that the pitches in Guyana are so slow. Basil, both Roger and I think that West Indies will score over 250 tomorrow. Is Eloise right, Basil?
Yeah, I don't think 250 going to score on the Providence wicket. I think that's the wicket. If West Indies is able to score 250 that wicket, it will be a superb performance. But I looking to see a score close to 200. I think they could get close to 200 on that pitch. And the thing about the guy saying it playing better under lights, I guess he didn't look at the game with Afghanistan and Uganda. The pitch played similarly under the lights like it did against West Indies. And if you notice, the 2 batters from Afghanistan, they put on 100 and change. And the minute the 2 of them was out, the other batters struggled to push it on, and they end up only making 170. They looked like they were going over 200 at one point.
Indra Sapoka, I will let the West Indies heard of your request. I will inform the West Indies of your request, Indra. And Eloise is saying again, Uganda will play their spinners and West Indies will struggle to score quickly if they are not careful. Roger, those Uganda spinners are primary school spinners. We should be able to deal with them.
They're not special. And I believe, we have someone like Nicholas Poore at number 3. Brandon King plays spin very well. Also, I think once we're able to get a good start, I definitely see if Western is getting close to 250, if not over 250. If you paid attention to the Afghanistan game, they had an excellent start. Now, they don't have the same depth in batting that the Westerners have. With Afghanistan, they have a good top order. But once you get to around number 5, you can pretty much sort of control that batting lineup. In the case of the Westerners, we have someone like Andre Russell coming in at 7, Romari Shepherd coming in at 8. So it's a totally different proposition.
Okay. Thank you very much, Roger. Please, Roger, give us your final comments on what we should really expect tomorrow night.
An absolutely dominant performance from the West Indies. The West Indies is expected to come to the party and to give us Caribbean fans something to cheer about. Hopefully, the people of Guyana will turn out in their numbers and support the team and show the team that as a Caribbean community, we are 100% behind the West Indies and their quest to win this World Cup, this home World Cup in 2024.
Basil, over to you.
I would echo the sentiments that said there by Roger. I'm expecting us to roll over Uganda and not have what one of our famous commentators said, an embarrassing victory. I'm expecting us to destroy Uganda. And I'm hopeful that the Guyanese, the fans in Guyana come out in decent numbers to show support, because this is the last game the West Indies will be playing. Well, not necessarily, because there's a semi-final playing in Guyana, but this will be the time they're not going to see the team pending if they get to the semi-finals at Providence for this World Cup. So I hope they turn out in their numbers, and I look forward to a rollicking West Indies win.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Well, as soon as the press conference is over, I will be back with you to analyze and give you feedback on what Rovman Powell said. If not this evening, early tomorrow morning, but I'll definitely do an analysis of that press conference. I'll definitely review it. Please, I'm asking the people of Guyana, go out and support the West Indies team. Full up those stands at Providence tonight and cheer the West Indies team loudly. Have a good day, everyone. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, gentlemen. It was a good show. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.
All right.